We've been doing this for what, 5 years, and no one knows we exist.
2013, yeah, so maybe 5. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Has it really been that long?
Yeah, August 2013 we started.
I think you've gained a viewer since then, haven't you? One extra viewer.
Like one, yeah. Fucking hardcore work.
When we first started, the first week live stream, we had this guy, he's joined us. Bendy Wang his name. And he joined us, and he was with us for like 4 or 5 years. He joined us every live stream, he just disappeared. I thought, but he, like, oh, okay.
Kim probably got him.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's probably a dissident of China or somewhere.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, with a name like Bang Bang Ching or whatever. It keeps swinging back now. I think you've gained a viewer since then, haven't you? One extra viewer.
I'm wearing headphones. I'm not sorry.
Yeah. It's probably good we're not actually with our cuffs wearing headphones until next time.
Yeah, for sure. Right. We sat there constantly turning them up and down, up and down, up and down.
Mm.
Now I've got to sort of re-manoeuvre this microphone back into place.
Maneuver the microphone.
It's fine.
We're all definitely ill, you see, so.
It's fine. It's fine. It's all fine.
I can't help it.
Testing.
Officially, the audio to this podcast is going to suck. I'm just going to top tail it and leave it at that, because we're all going to die.
Yeah.
We've all got some kind of plague.
Yeah.
Oh, headphone users, you have been warned.
I think I've got the rabies.
Have you?
I think so.
You ain't got Ebola then?
Sorry?
Who was the last person
No,
on
I
our
don't think
podcast
so.
to have Ebola? Ah, yeah, you had the Ebola, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, that's rough.
Do you want to hear my joke about Ebola? You probably won't get it.
Jeez.
Oh, fuck, I'm done.
That's the same response you had last time I told that joke.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. I've killed him. Get anybody to the very ill Van Nerds. I'm the Suffolk Cram.
I used to be Middlemester.
Used to be.
I'm dying.
You're not dead yet, though. So
You right, Diane? How you doing? I'm
what a
Skazz.
dad joke. And
Yeah.
as you can tell, we're all dying of something.
Mm.
I've got bubonic plague. Middlemester's got rabies.
Yeah, got bit by a dog last week.
Yeah.
Wow.
Skazz got pneumonia.
I
Mad
bought him.
hobo disease.
Mad hobo disease. Yeah. He got bit by a homeless person.
That's it.
Um,
I bit myself whilst I was trying to flee myself, you know. I went
flee
really bad.
yourself?
Yeah.
What, have you given up on the collars now?
Yeah. Well,
I
it's
thought you
starting to
meant
get
you were
expensive
running
and
away
the
from
NHS don't
yourself.
provide them. And my local vet was like, look, I'm getting tired of seeing you now. And I was like,
Yeah. Why you bring the spaniel here, which is a small neck, but you insist on having a very extra large collar?
it's like, look, I've spent all of my money on his insurance. I'm sick. Help me. I'm hairy enough to be thought of as a dog.
Nice.
Help me.
I wouldn't that way, mate. That's just a one-way ticket's been put down in that way.
Oh, mate, sooner rather than later, 'cause I'm getting sick and tired of being sick.
Yeah.
And
That's true.
tired.
First time I came here, I did actually try to pet you.
Well, you see. That's my...
Yeah,
Why?
see, this is Charlie the Spaniel, and that's Luke. That's the one. Yeah. Oh, hello, Charlie. No, that's
No,
the guy.
still.
I get it now.
Yeah.
I'm good these days.
But it did,
Yeah, it took me a while on that.
It did
Yeah.
give you a bonio, though. That was so.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, don't
it's
worry,
true.
you know.
Took it out of my hand now.
I heard
Well, I ain't going
that.
to complain. Free food, mate.
Yeah.
It's not often I get fed.
Yeah. That time we showered you was a bit awkward, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit.
Yeah,
I appreciate
when I
it
gave you a
behind
bath.
the ears and all that. You know.
Yeah.
I
That was very
smelled
thorough.
fresh for at least a couple of days, and so I started
yeah,
rolling in
sparkling.
shit again. So.
Yeah.
Little fox poo.
Yeah.
And the fish guts down the beach. I don't know what it is. Just there was just some foreign substance on the floor, so I had to roll in it.
We're all discussing the better. Yeah.
Adds to the flavour.
Yeah. We have really gone off on a tangent, as usual.
Of
We really
course.
don't know how to
Yeah.
So,
Start the podcast, mate. How's that happen?
apologies in advance. We have no chat. Well, we do have chat, but we can't read it from here
Yeah.
No, we all.
because some idiot forgot to bring his laptop with him.
Yeah. I don't know who that was.
As he literally want to have a thing. There's something I need to do when I do this. I've got the headphones. I've got to change the shirt, so I can't work.
They
out
also
work.
forgot.
The headphone jack bit. I thought that was going to be a long explanation, so I
Yeah,
just
so-
knock out. Yeah.
That's great. They've all bought headphones, but no adapters.
I
So,
forgot.
We've all forgot something.
What did you forget?
My happy, joy attitude.
Oh well, I can't help you with that.
I don't think
So
I've ever seen that.
Yeah, I think I lost that years ago.
Yeah, I was saying.
Well, on that note, then, do you want to kick us off what games you've been playing then?
Oh, bugger it. I'm trying to think. We've been playing booby games or
games?
or No Man's Sky.
I'm going to have to adjust this mic again. Sorry to the edit. Sorry to Skazz who has to edit this. I'm sorry. Sorry, Skazz.
Right,
Sorry.
Everyone, don't talk so I can edit this out. What a dick. If you check the last episode versus the live stream, that episode is actually shorter than the live stream. I actually edited that one.
I noticed that.
Yeah,
I don't know what bit you edited out, but I noticed it.
I don't remember.
It's only sure about 3 minutes, so I was like, oh, he's edited something out here.
I thought you might have taken me out, but
That's what noise reduction's for.
I was very quiet
We
last
do a
week. I didn't
silence
have-
track, then we
last
do
time.
a Middlemester track where we get you to
okay.
speak for a minute, and then we just
Well, there you go. Just cut out all
yeah,
those frequencies.
yeah. Just I mean, we just need a sample of your voice saying, "Yeah, I love Nier Automata, isn't it awesome?" And then we can just delete
I
the voice.
only watched the first 5 minutes so I can like myself and then
Yeah.
I don't watch any further.
And he says he's not a narcissist.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Oh wait.
I've been accused of being a narcissist before.
Yeah.
He's been an ass in this.
Yeah. So, Skazz,
Yes.
what wonderful games have you been playing?
Like I said, booby games.
Is that what? Leisure Suit Larry?
I thought Hyperdimension Tuner was my first thought.
No, actually, but it's
You see my logical chain of reasoning for that.
well, yeah, but the company that makes the game that I was playing has also made some of the sub games for the Hyperdimension Neptunia guys. So
they've only made like sort of 20 or 30 of the Hyperdimension games.
well, the
Not the Steins Gate Elite.
I've got that, but I haven't played it
Yeah.
yet. And
The reviews for that game are through the roof, aren't they? 87 on Metacritic. I didn't see that coming.
I've got it twice.
You surprised me.
I've got it on Switch and PC.
No PS4 version, eh?
No, fuck PlayStation. Fucking peasants console. With the exception of yourself.
Oh, of course.
We'll give you some credit, but
You're more of a surf.
I've been playing through 2 games. One of them is Senran Kagura Shinovi Versus on the PlayStation Vita. Now, I've mentioned the Senran Kagura series before, because I think I've spoken about Valkyrie Drive,
Yes.
and it's made by the same company, Tamsoft. Now, little known fact, it probably isn't, that Senran Kagura was actually the game that kept that company in business. So, like, because I think they made Battle Arena Toshinden, if you've ever played that on the PlayStation.
I did, yeah.
And a few other games, and then they were pretty much failing at that point. Then they made Senran Kagura on the 3DS, and all of a sudden they ended up back in the black.
That's on the PS Classic Battle Arena Shinden.
Yeah, yeah.
Somehow.
Is that a PAL PAL version or?
Probably one of the PAL ones. I don't know if they listed which were PAL and which were not. But
I assumed that the community had already
Yeah,
gutted it
that'd
and
be
gone,
the-
that game sucks.
yeah. That's
Mine still
okay.
hasn't come out of the box yet, to be fair.
I tried to try mine in a game, but they won't take them for some reason.
Because they want
Barcode
you
didn't
to
work.
give them money to take it.
Yeah.
They've been making chairs out of them on the back, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, so playing Senran Kagura, so I got into the Senran Kagura series years ago, but for a very stupid reason. Because much like the Hyperdimension Neptunia series, the Hyperdimension Neptunia series doesn't take itself seriously. The cover art is really stupid and goofy, and that was the same kind of thing with Senran Kagura. So most people, if you don't know what Senran Kagura is, you'll probably know the cover art if you're in the UK. So are you familiar with 3DS cover art?
Yeah.
Right.
What if you're like me, who never goes into a game shop because he doesn't want to get into the console people?
You don't want to go near any of the peasants and
I
catch
don't. I walk in. I don't want. They're wearing their baseball caps backwards and all that sort of stuff. I don't want to go near those console.
At least we
people.
don't have that PC smell that you often get from PC.
The
PC
PC gamer Musk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a unique
fucking
aroma.
the Cheeto dust and
Unique aroma.
Aversion to sunlight and all that. Like, I'm dying.
right. So do you remember a 3DS game where it was literally a cleavage with a scroll coming out of it?
It does ring a bell, but anything
ever
from
go on the-
Japan kind of has that.
Well, no, but if you ever go to the 3DS shop, that is
Right.
literally the graphic that appears when you go to launch the game.
I'm quite intrigued
So
now.
that's the trick. I was like, this is on a Nintendo console because Nintendo have
Family
traditionally
friendly,
been,
lovely.
yeah, they are really heavy-handed when it came to censorship. So when we saw this game on the 3DS, I was like, this is a series that I'm going to have to play because this can't be a thing. This is Nintendo. They don't allow that kind of thing. Suggestive themes right off the bat. So the whole idea of Senran Kagura is the first game is that there are two rival ninja schools battling it out. Two teams of 5 ninja girls. And most people know the games for one feature and one feature alone. As you attack your opponent, their clothes rip. Right? So yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah, no, I remember this game now.
Yeah, so because and it's a very familiar feature with anything done by Tamsoft, whether it be Senran Kagura, Valkyrie Drive, or even the Neptunia games, they all have that feature.
The ironic thing of your clothes getting ripped as you have a fight is actually a surprisingly accurate thing that probably would happen.
Yeah, except people think it's really weird when it happens in a game. They're like,
That's because for years I've been taught that, particularly if it's a female character, the more revealing they are, the better the armor.
That's Korean armor.
Yeah,
Korean armor stats.
you literally, if a female character, maybe a Japanese game, it literally has one small,
it's
tiny
Korean.
little bit
Korean
Korean.
MMO armor stats. The skimpier the armor, the higher the value.
They literally have like a couple of those like little what we call.
So they got nipple tassels and a
That's
thong
it.
that
That's
so
like
high.
invulnerable at that point. They're invulnerable at that point.
That's it. They are invincible.
Yeah.
They have the toughest armor in the universe. That is the legendary thong and nipple tassel combo, forged millennia ago.
Yeah.
By I don't know. Fuck it. But yeah. So those are the two ways that people generally know Senran Kagura. Big busty ninja chicks going out fighting each other. The original games played very much like a side-scrolling fighter, like Streets of Rage. So you would use weak and strong attacks, kind of like Dynasty Warriors attack styles, and then you'd also have a special combo button and jump, very Dynasty Warriors-esque. But as I say, the original games were side-scrolling. Then when you get to the PlayStation Vita games and Shinovi Versus that I've been playing as a Vita game, it plays much more like Dynasty Warriors. So waves of enemies come at you and then a boss turns up. The maps aren't as complex. You don't have to close any gates to stop reinforcements. It is literally just wave of enemies, fight boss, move on with the story. As I say, it's about rival ninja schools developing friendships and fighting each other and twisted subplots. I don't want to go too much into the story because it's something that you actually have to experience, but what I will say is that most people look at these games and they go, oh, it's a fan service game, it's got tits and ass and it's all busty chicks, I don't want to play that. If you look at the trailers for these games, even on Steam, it kind of airs on the side of the perverse.
I'm a fan of those things, so I can understand why it would be seen as fan
Loads
service.
of more.
So
Yeah.
when you play the game, the story is actually really quite good, which is something you don't actually expect when you first go into the game. The characters have reasonably paced development. All storylines are interwoven quite nicely. So you've got 3 arcs. You've got the Hanzo school, the Gessen school, the Hebijo school, and then after you do those, you get the Crimson Squad stuff, and all of that just meshes in really nicely. All of the characters have unique relationships to one another, unique personalities. Unlike a lot of games you see these days, where it's like cookie cutter A, cookie cutter B, and then just kind of stick them together and throw some reason for them to be there, and that's it. I mean, there's plenty of characters in the game, all uniquely designed, unique abilities, so special skills, different weapons. Some of them could be using 6-foot swords that are taller than they are. Some of them are using guns. Some of them are using the Japanese fans as weapons. All of the characters are really neat, really well designed. The music is fucking gorgeous, and the story is people are getting killed left and right. There's pretty much like talking about abuse of children. So when some of these people grew up, they were getting abused on the streets, beaten up, you know, tortured. Families would abuse them, or you know, send them away to you know, toughen them up or whatever. It's not the kind of thing you expect from a fan service game. So it's a story I have to play to really get into. I couldn't even begin to break it down because each game has roughly 4 arcs, and an arc can take about 8 hours to complete. These are not short games. I did a stream of the final fight in the game today, right? And the final fight is about 3 minutes. I did it twice, yet the stream lasted for nearly an hour and a half.
You sure you're not just really bad at it?
Well, no, that's what I mean.
That's what we all feel. No one wanted to say, but the
fight itself only lasts for 3 minutes. So I'd only actually been fighting a character, because I had to do it twice, for 6 minutes. The rest of the stream was story.
This isn't made by Kojima by any chance, is it?
No.
Well, no, because it's only for an hour he played it for, and a fight. If it was Kojima, it'd be like 3 to 4 hours.
Before you get to the title screen.
Yeah.
But no, that's one I struggle to explain it. But if you like kind of Dynasty Warriors-esque games with goofy Japanese characters and
tits.
Yeah, and
I like tits and ass, but I don't really like Dynasty Warrior.
No.
Style games, really, for me, anyway.
The levels are pretty quick in the grand scheme, so I mean, I might set one up next time you come round and you can have a wee go at it. But they're pretty fun. The soundtracks alone are worth fucking playing them for. You've got mixes of traditional Japanese music, heavy metal, rock, pop, all meshed into these games. Pretty neat. Yeah, fuck me, the length of those games and the story. Like I had people in stream going, "Shit, I didn't expect it to be this deep. Like, shit, I can't leave. I need to piss. I can't leave. I've got to find out what happens next." And they just sat there, and I wasn't reading it to them. They were reading it themselves. It was just on screen. Yeah, there's plenty of text in between each fight, so you'll have like characters on screen talking to one another to build into why they're fighting, and then you'll have like a little bit of background, maybe a cut scene. And you know, it's the cutscenes and the dialogue make most of the game, but it's so well done. I think it's well done, considering it's like a cheap Vita game or cheap PC game. Yeah. It's not what you'd expect.
No.
So, Senran Kagura Shinovi Versus, well worth it. They're on PC, Vita, and PS4. Cheap as chips. And the first Senran Kagura game that was on 3DS has just recently been remade and released for PC. I don't know if it's been on PS4 yet, but worth having a go at. Like I said, I don't want to explain too much about it. Just imagine Dynasty Warriors with big titted ninjas and Clive's getting ripped and people getting killed in stories. Great, because I don't want to ruin it.
No,
I don't want to ruin it. But at least try it.
Big spoilers.
Yeah, because they're cheap. Don't let the trailers and the fan service stuff put you off from a decent story. The next game I've played, I can't give any praise at all. Well, maybe a little bit.
You mentioned it briefly last time, didn't you?
Yeah,
I didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I didn't, but I've decided that I've had enough of it. After 10 hours, I've really had enough of it. I've been playing No Man's Sky.
The game that I'm hated on the internet for.
Yeah, that's right. I just want to.
And you're not bitter about it at all.
No, I'm not bitter about it at all.
You never mentioned it until today.
Ram was right.
Yeah,
he was right.
I'm not often right, but I was right in this case.
I tried it out in the very next day it came out when I got it.
Yeah, you tried it 1.0.
Yeah.
And you weren't particularly fond of it.
That's an understatement. Yeah.
I've tried it after a ton of updates. The game sucks, man. It's like it was handed to a fucking bunch of Muppets to code.
Especially when you get to the centre of the universe. Jeez. What a
I ain't ever going to get there. I ain't ever going to get there. How long does it take?
I don't think it takes a particularly long time, but I know what happens when you get there now.
Nothing.
It just resets, yeah. The game just resets.
That pulls a Metro down you.
Yeah.
What the ever loving.
We're all dying from shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So
when it first was announced, I thought it looked really cool, really neat.
yeah, look, they show off all these really cool things that aren't in the game.
If it was just an indie game, like 10 quid or something on
Yeah,
PS
that
Store
was
and
big
wasn't
issue,
hyped to hell, that
It's too
probably would have been
expensive.
okay. People probably would have been alright with it, but
The
it's
issue
hyped
I-
and full release and
The issue
full
I had
price.
early on was that every trailer was identical. They weren't showing anything different,
Yeah.
and every time they all the interviews at this guy. I mean, the guy I can't remember his name. Who's the
Sean Murray, I think.
Yeah, I mean he got on like Conan O'Brien in America, like
I
a
know,
mainstream
yeah.
chat show and stuff,
Yeah.
and showed it off and demonstrated it on there.
Mm.
So, but he just showed the same thing every.
Yeah, because the trouble
time.
was it looked like they only
Yeah.
had a set of pre-rendered scenes or a few assets set up.
They just showed very nice planets, that,
Yeah.
but nothing to do in them.
Yeah,
Well, there's nothing to do on him even now.
No.
Even now, there is nothing to do in it.
Is the underwater bases any fun, or is it just?
I haven't
pointless?
even found water.
Oh yeah.
I haven't found any. In 10 hours, all that I've done in that game is organise items in my backpack,
Oh, that was a pain in the ass from day one. That was.
fucking fly around occasionally in space, set up a poxy little base, which to me so far has been a couple of walls just so I can put the little components it wants me to do for the story in there. I've jetted around space a little bit, got into a handful of space battles, got myself a free space freighter because the captain was a puss and just gave it to me. And I was like, what am I doing? Majority of my time... Okay, so does anyone want to explain what No Man's Sky was supposed to be?
fly around, land on a red planet, see a pink dinosaur, take off, fly, land on a yellow planet, see an orange dinosaur, take off, fly, land on a blue planet, see a red dinosaur. Is that basically it?
Except I've not seen any dinosaurs.
Not see any dinosaurs.
Nope, no dinosaurs.
Have they deleted the dinosaurs? Is that what the updates? They deleted dinosaurs.
Looks like
I
it.
saw a very strange animal when I was in there, like a giraffe with its head backwards, kind of
I haven't seen
running in a
anything
really
like that.
weird direction.
I've seen like
Animals
some
were
really
weird.
weird, like Legend of Zelda style wolves.
Yeah,
That's
kind of cool.
The annoying sentinels that remind me of 343 Guilty Spark.
They were a pain. They
With
were.
the little laser guns. As soon as you mine anything, look at anything, fucking walk without tying up your shoelaces, pew, 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 you're fucking dead. It's like, will you lot just leave me alone? You fucking... That game is designed to slow you down.
It seems like they've added stuff, but they haven't really
No, it
listened
doesn't
to
do
the
anything.
complaints, like
It
what
doesn't-
people wanted.
Some people really like that game, and don't get me wrong, when I'm prattling around with people on stream and I'm just taking the piss, it's kind of fun. But then as soon as I'm like, okay, I'm flying around. So the idea is that you're supposed to get to the center of the universe. It's generating planets as you go. You're supposed to
But
discover...
you are all sharing one server, aren't you? It's actually it's not local to your PC. It's your planet is out. You can go visit other people's planets in theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, once
But
you've
it's
named
so
it.
Well, you
big,
can-
It's
you-
not like you ever find someone
You're
else's
supposed...
planet.
Well, you're supposed to now, but what they've added in...
co-op-ish.
So, originally the worlds felt very empty. So when you played it, I take it you didn't see any other things flying around in...
No one
space.
else, nothing else.
Well, now they've put in a load of NPCs that just fly around.
You saw a little bit of that early on, like just ships flying about, a little bit of that, but there was no
They're
real
everywhere.
point to it because there's no personality.
Yeah, same.
to it- to
There
'em.
still isn't.
Yeah.
It's really, really dumb because you're this random guy that's just dropped off on this planet, and then the game says... So within about 15 minutes, I died.
Yeah, I don't
Because
really. You have to
it-
fix your ship, don't you?
Yeah, it tosses you on a planet that's burning you to a crisp. Did you have the same start?
No, I think I got quite lucky on the planet because I think that is random, isn't it? What planet?
I have no
conditions.
idea.
I don't think I had anything to contend with when I got there in terms of temperatures or anything like that. Just what was there, but nothing. The planet wasn't hostile in that sense. It wasn't hot or toxic or anything like that.
Well, it fucking was for me, and it sucked.
Yeah, that would be
Sucked
bad.
really hard, and the game was like, right, you have to press this button to deploy scanners to find items that you need to survive, to be able to craft items to repair your ship, to be able to get off the planet, to be able to fly around space, to be able to go to space stations, to go to
Yeah.
other systems, to find more planets, to find more stuff, to make more items, to fly even further through space.
I always thought it looked like it's a game looking for an objective. No, it didn't have any idea what it was going to be.
It's
They released it way too early. Was part of the thing.
no, but even now, it to me. So people say, "Oh yeah, they made loads of improvements." Where? Where?
If this is the improved version, what was the original one like?
Well, that's what I was worried about, because
Pretty
my
bad.
mate Divine absolutely loves it, and he loves space stuff, and I was bored one night, so I thought, you know what, I've got this game for like pennies. I don't even remember fucking buying it, but let's have a go at it. If you want it right, I will summarise No Man's Sky as Ark Survival Evolved
Yes.
Yeah.
in space. Right? That's all it is. Procedurally generated Ark in space. You had better like inventory management in that game, because everything needs resources. You need to charge, right? So you need oxygen for your suit. You need, that might be oxygen just for your life support system and your environmental defense system. I can't remember what it's called now, but like, so if you go onto a planet with acid rain, you'll have like a little mini shield that will eventually burn out as time goes. You have to recharge that. You have to have ammo for your guns. You have to find actual health, because recharging your shield isn't the same as recharging your health. You have to mine items for fuel for your ship just to fly around the planet. Just to take off. Sorry, not to fly around the planet, just to take off. You need to have a different kind of fuel to fly around space faster. You need to have another kind of fuel to warp to another system. Yeah. You need to have, I've mentioned the mine and laser. You need to then have different kind of items to make other materials that you will then craft into fuels. Like you might need to craft 2 other items to make fuel. So just going around finding like shit tons of carbon, or for some reason salt and sodium are 2 separate things.
You still have to expand your inventory, because
that was
when I gave up on the game. I kept going to these places, expanding my inventory. I think, why am I doing this? I could be playing something so much more fun.
That's it.
That's kind of when I stopped playing.
It gets to the point where, okay, so you go to a planet, you stock up on fuel, because you've got a limited amount of stuff you can carry because you're a puss, right? So let's say you stock up on fuel, you stock up on the resources you need to make the fuel to travel through space, you stock up on fuel to warp, but then you will very quickly find yourself running out, having to go back down to a planet, having to find more materials to make more fuel to go back up into space to be able to travel further.
Yeah.
And then when you're in space, you have to have different items to recharge your shields. So you have to have even more stuff in your inventory. Your inventory is so goddamn small. It's not even funny. And it felt to me that the game was purposely trying to pad out its length by forcing me to keep going back down to planets to find things. Because the planets aren't very interesting. I found a really, really nice planet, like after the first planet I was on, that was ridiculously hostile, launched off the planet, got down to the next planet that I found, and it was all green, full of life. The AI of the enemies is thick as shit. So all of a sudden you'll see this thing, and rather than it just running at you, it kind of paths in a circle. And eventually it'll get to this point where it realises that you are there, and it'll just go, nah, and just run at you. And then if you back off from it, it'll start circling around again, like a brain-dead velociraptor, right? And these appear way too often. Sentinels will attack you for gathering materials, killing enemies that are trying to kill you, or attacking sentinels. Just the whole game.
There weren't many varieties of planet, though, were there? Like, there was
Well, I
only
haven't seen
5
many.
basic designs of planet, really.
Toxic, really fucking hot, and green.
Yeah,
That's
and
all
like
I've
a
found
frozen.
so far.
I found like a cold sort of planet, but that was about it, really. There's obviously like trillions of planets, but only a few varieties of
So it was
basic
really
planet design.
kind of pointless going down to these other planets to
For the most part, yeah.
you know, you.
But are you actually, apart from flying around, is there like anything like? Because obviously, there are lots of games out there where there's no real goal. I mean, things like Minecraft. I know they put a game goal in Minecraft eventually, but based on nothing like that at all. And a bit like saying there's got no real end goal apart from just survive. Mm-hmm. But there is something else too, because in the case of those games, you make little projects like, I want to build want to build a little house up, or I want to build a little base up, or something.
They have base building in No Man's Sky, but it's fucking stupid. You know how Ark, you just basically build a square and there's your base.
Yeah.
Same thing.
You don't need to defend yourself against anything either.
There's no sort of incentive.
There's nothing that comes at night to try and kill you or anything either.
There's no incentive to do projects.
No. Unless the game tells you to. Like, unless the game says you cannot progress until you've got a science station, you've got no need to build a base.
And are the mining and stuff, is it a case of you only can mine specific areas, or can you just destroy
There's shit tons of... So most of the materials you get will come from rocks that are just randomly sitting there. You know, like fucking big old mound of stone is just poking out of the ground. You just go over to it and punch it. There's a random vein of copper or gold or whatever just sat in the ground somewhere that could take you about 20 minutes to walk to. You know, it's... All right, so basically you go on, you land on the planet. You use your scanner, and your scanner will scan a specific range around your character, and then it will tell you, right. So I don't know. Let's say you need for your next mission, you need to find copper, and it'll say, well, there's some copper, like 15 minutes in that direction. That will take you 15 minutes to go that way, or you could get into your ship and fly that way, and that will take you, you know, a couple seconds or a minute, you know. You could take your ship, which will make it a lot quicker, but then you better be willing to fucking gather the resources to be able to fuel your ship. Because every time you take off, you lose 25% of your fuel.
Whoa.
Yeah. 25% of your fuel every time you take off. Not as you're flying about, just as you take off. Yes, you will be gathering materials for fuel all the damn time.
I mean, I know it takes a lot of fuel to... Well, no, it takes a lot of fuel to get into space. It doesn't take a lot of fuel to get off the ground.
Yeah, literally just gone from ground to... Boop, I'm up in the air. 25% of your fuel. You can go 4 times before you need to refuel.
And that just screams, you know, oh shit, we better limit this a bit. Let's not try and work away.
Same kind of thing when you get into space. When you get into space, it'll say, right, the space station is 15 minutes away from your planet. Or you can press these 2 buttons together and you can basically, like, I don't know, hyperdrive towards the thing. But then you'll find that you're going to really quickly run out of fuel. So then you have to go through these really fucking... There's asteroids everywhere because they know that you need to mine them to get fuel, the material to make fuel for your warp drive or whatever.
Rather than tweaking the requirements of the fuel stuff, they just
spam shit everywhere.
It just feels like they're just putting, like, you know, patching and patching and patching.
Yeah.
Like
so
they've stuck a plaster on it. It's not quite big enough. We'll stick another plaster on it. Oh.
You know, in Elite Dangerous, you'll see like an asteroid belt and then shit tons of nothing, then a space station, then maybe some more rocks drifting about, some battles going on. There's a lot of space in between things. In No Man's Sky, if you start boosting from the moment you leave a planet's atmosphere to the moment you hit the edge of space, right? Rocks are just flying towards you, and you'll dodge this lot, and then you'll be flying along, and it'll seem like there's nothing, and then BAM! There's even more in your face. It's just like, you don't have to worry about them if you use that hyperdrive style thing. You'll just fucking blast clean through them. Like, nothing hits you because you're moving too quick. But you need to do that to get to the space station without wanting to pull your hair out. So then you'll find that you've run out of fuel. So then you have to go back out and gather more materials. Otherwise, you're going to spend 15 minutes flying through space.
Can you do things like, is there like missions at the space station, like Elite, where you can do like trading missions and stuff to earn, cash to buy fuel? Or just is it all mine and stuff?
Cash is very hard to get in No Man's Sky. It's quicker just to go out there and mine the materials yourself. Because some stuff in that game is so goddamn expensive. I don't know how long they expect you to play before you're actually grounded enough to be able to afford half of this stuff.
Because I think in the best sort of like, even the more hardcore sort of survival games, if you sort of put in the category of a survival game sort of, they know to leave you a bit of breathing space. There are bits where you can just go wandering off and explore and not worry. But it sounds like it hasn't got that.
You can do that to a degree, but there's nothing there.
Yeah.
There's nothing. None of the characters actually mean anything in this game. None of them. There are NPCs dotted around in space stations and on planets. They do nothing. Because the game is procedurally generated, they're like, okay, so a mission will come up. go and find random person or go and employ someone. Just random character A will be sat there. You'll talk to them, and all of a sudden it'll say, and a flash of red light appears, and all of a sudden this like information is beamed into your head, and the character that's in front of you isn't aware of this happening. So they were just there. Random NPC. They don't do anything. They have no weight to the story because it's just being beamed into your head by the Traveller or the Overseer or who the fuck ever it is. None of the... Because obviously, because it's procedurally generated, they can't script these events to any one NPC. So they just make this, like, omnipotent force to just push it into your head.
You could do.
Yeah, you could, but they haven't.
But again, though, it's a patch on a patch that wasn't planned.
Everything in this game is ridiculously lazy. And it just seems like it's forcing you to go down to planets to gather materials. Majority of my time I spent it going around like, oh, here's the plant that I need to gather oxygen. Here's the rock I need to gather like ferrite. Here's the stuff I need to get copper, which I can refine into this random thing to get some cash. You know, it just takes so long just to be able to go anywhere, and the planets aren't interesting enough. The base building isn't interesting.
It sounded like, as I said at the time, it had a nice concept, but was just really badly executed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The idea of being able to just jump in space, just fly into space, sounds awesome. Mm-hmm. But it just sounds like it was really poorly executed.
If you want a game where you can dick around in space and have no real goal but have fun doing it, Elite Dangerous.
Yeah.
Elite Dangerous every step of the way. Some people have suggested Star Citizen to me, but I haven't played that. But for me, Elite Dangerous. I'm tied to Elite from when I was a kid.
I like Elite Dangerous as well. It sort of scratches an itch.
See, in Elite Dangerous, if I want fuel in Elite Dangerous, I can...
space, it's cheap as well.
Yeah. Not the case in No Man's Sky.
You can just go off and, like, I mean, there's that group of players who decide to fly from one side of the galaxy to the other. Mm-hmm. And they just, like, as a group of course, like, 3 months real world, they just all jump system work their way across the galaxy. Mm-hmm. And that's sort of stuff that you can find it's do. I mean, it's more of like it's more simi-based though. It's like the ships are more like a simulator style based, but that has cool interactions.
Space combat in No Man's Sky is kind of like Elite Dangerous, but then you end up finding yourself spunking materials that spunking resources you've gathered on the planet to keep your shields recharged, or making sure that you've got enough fuel just to jump around space. I spent more time in my inventory screen than I did actually exploring planets.
Yeah, it's not generous enough.
No.
You wouldn't recommend people jumping back into it then?
No. God, no. And I mean, like I say, when an enemy comes at you and it's just literally pathing around in a circle and you're like, just run at me. And they come at the most inappropriate time, so it looks like it's just spawned in over the hill.
Just to annoy you.
Yeah. Everything in that game is there just to annoy you. You could be in the middle of doing something and then random thing A happens.
It's not, for fuck's sake, as in, okay, I want this, but this is going to be a great anecdote. It's what, for fuck's sake, really? No, I really don't need this now. This is just making my life
The
painful.
amount of times I would land my ship and then go, right, there's the thing I need, get back into my ship and go, oh, for fuck's sake, I'm out of fuel. So now I'm going to have to go and find the materials to make fuel.
Yeah.
Then I can jump back to my base. It's just like, I am so fucking bored.
5% would have been annoying, but enough.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, you don't need to use your ship, but I mean, even when to use your mining laser to mine materials, you're using materials to charge it. So in the end, a couple of other players came in and told me, yeah, by the way, Skazz, you actually get more materials by punching the items than you do using the mining laser. So I stopped using the mining laser entirely and just kept on like punching the stone. As long as it was only like low level materials, so it wasn't any of the kind of more enhanced, refined stuff, I could just walk up to it and just punch it, and I'd end up getting more stuff out of it quicker than if I was using the mining laser.
Yeah. Well, Pitbull's, forgive me because I can't really see the text from over here. So I'd look at playing it. I think Pitbull said it's a walking simulator, but with tedious inventory management.
Yes, basically, it just seems like it's so forced. so poorly tacked together. It's not very interesting. Flying around space is neat.
Yeah.
But even then, I could pick faults.
It's very much. I say it's very much felt like they come up with the idea. Let's have a game where you can land on a planet, take off, and just go seamlessly into outer space, fly around, do something, but then never add anything to those bones. And then later on, suddenly realise, oh shit, we need to do something here. Oh well, we'll just chuck resource management into it and base building into it. Oh, I'll be fine. We'll just chuck that into it, and it feels very much like very reactive.
The user interface is also dog shite.
It has land vehicles now, doesn't it?
It does, but I'm yet to use them. So,
you're not
but then yet again, likely if I had one of those vehicles, I would be spunking resources away to get it to actually move around. So.
It won't be like a little eco box. It'll be like an American V8 gas guzzler that sort of like requires a billion litres of petrol to move 6 inches.
Here's another thing, right? So you could actually build what looks like. Imagine my shed outside. You could build a storage unit that's about the same size as my shed outside. It's like a 10-foot by 10-foot by 10-foot box, right? That's only got like 5 inventory slots in it. So you can physically carry more on your person than you can store in this huge
don't to get cluttered.
fucking box. It's fucking ridiculous. Your tiny rinky-dink starter ship can carry more than these massive storage boxes. You always run out of space.
They could have fixed. I mean, they did things like perhaps you could build like refineries and stuff, which you could put your materials in that sort of makes more because it's like taking all the crap out of them and so forth. So you get like better stuff and.
Well, yeah, you can do that. So like you can take like ferrite dust and turn that into pure ferrite, which sells for more, recharges items more. But you still find yourself filling your inventory too quickly. And you've got nowhere to really store this stuff. So you find yourself burning through... so either you're just throwing it away, or you're burning through it so quickly because you want to travel somewhere. You want to make something. It's just...
What's the progression curve like? Has it really got one? Or is it just like... What sort of, are they coach like get bigger ships? Like what sort build a base? What is
within 10 hours, they gave me a giant freighter for doing fucking nothing.
See,
nothing. And then they said to me, "Hey, build a base in here so that you can actually use it." There's a fucking bridge over there. Why don't I use that? No. Go over to one of the cargo rooms and go put a little computer in it. Why? And then I was like, well, what is this thing actually doing? I was just dumping materials in it. Because you can put materials in it from the planet, but you can't get those materials back until you go back to the ship. Which is off in space, random place A.
It's going to take you a lot of resources to fly back and forth. And you 25% of your fuel every single time.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
So those folks,
I mean, to me, with you see, with those 4 games, it has to be something that after, say, you play it for a couple of hours, you sort of look back and go, yeah, I've done something. It doesn't have to be a lot, but you have to show some gradual progression. But going straight from a fighter to a freight in 10 hours is a bit extreme, with nothing between it. And sort of work between it.
I travelled from a couple of planets to other planets. But sometimes you'd literally go to a planet, complete a mission objective, find that there's nothing really interesting there or the planet's hostile. So you're like, the planet's hostile. I don't want to be here because that means I have to gather more materials to keep my life support systems up. Because if an enemy attacks me whilst I'm getting destroyed by fucking acid rain or burnt to a crisp because the planet has a shite atmosphere or none.
Can you do things like scan planets or first before you land on? See how
yeah, you can, but if the game's telling you have to go down there to continue the story, you have to go down there to continue the story. So, that's why you land there and you're like, right, fuck this, I'm going down there, I'm doing this objective. So you'll just literally fly in, drop in through the atmosphere. There's the place you need to go. Just straight out land there. Hope that you've brought enough fuel with you to take back off again, because if not, you're going to be on a hostile planet where you have to look for materials to make fuel. Get the fuck back off there. Fly through space, try and find the next objective. Oh! And the killer for me, here's when I decided I'd had enough. So I'm rocking my way through, and the game has given me 3 kind of quest trees at this point. One, to build up my base, to encourage me to use a base. So I had to find a science officer and some other guy. And then I found a random kind of like a fugitive in like a space anomaly who I could talk to. And then there was obviously the main story arc of speaking to this random voice that's in your head that tells you to go to the center of the universe or whatever. The two kind of side quests that it had given me, the NPCs decided that there was going to be a cooldown. It was going to take an hour. So I finished one of the quests and said, yeah, now you're going to have to wait for an hour before this unit is operational again. Because one of the NPCs was like a robot thing. And so, oh yeah, the robot has shut down because you've completed the quest. So now you have to wait for an hour for it to reboot. And then you
for longevity.
Yeah. And then I went to the space anomaly, handed the NPC the information that it wanted, because I had to go and speak to random aliens on the space stations. Didn't matter if they were so they didn't have to be different species, just speak to 30 different aliens on these space stations. Go back to the anomaly. And they didn't have to give me any information. I didn't have to scan them or anything. Just literally dialogue, spam. Just like press the button, write the dialogues over, fly off, because they don't tell you anything because you can't understand anything. The most interesting thing is that you can probably learn their language from like drops that are on the planet or whatever, but you can't understand what they're saying. Like, oh, random alien is grunting at me, I should probably leave. And then you say leave or stare the enemy down or whatever, and then walk off. Talk to them, go to see that NPC, hand them the information they've asked for on these 30 aliens, and then it says, oh yeah, well it's going to take them ages for them to actually go through this information. They won't be available to talk to you again for like another hour. And I was like, great. So two of the things that were motivating me to move around this world have stopped. Why am I playing this game anymore? Because after that, all there is inventory management to keep jumping around for the main quest. Not interested. You know, like I said, the user interface is jank as balls, so that made it even worse. It became a chore to do any of this stuff. So, again, if you want a survival game like No Man's Sky, play Ark Survival Evolved. If you want to fly around in space, fucking Elite Dangerous. Just hands down. If you want to fly around space and have fun, Elite Dangerous. Please, just play that. If you have a Nintendo Switch, one of the people who were talking to me about No Man's Sky said, yeah, there's a game on the Nintendo Switch. There's kind of a No Man's Sky meets Elite Dangerous kind of game called Starlink. Have you ever seen that one with Star Fox?
That's on other consoles, but
yeah, but the Switch one has Star Fox in it. It's got a separate storyline with Star Fox. Yeah. That is actually, believe it or not, because it turns out I had that game. I bought it, but I'd never actually played it yet. I took it out to play it.
It's a toys for life sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but you don't need them because you can play it digitally. My kids had it once and then lost it. No, twice and then lost the cartridge. So balls to that. But that is so imagine No Man's Sky on a much smaller scale without the inventory management. So like just flying around a planet, completing little missions, and then flying back up into space. Like literally flying from the planet and then going back into space, and then flying to another planet whilst getting involved in little space battles and stuff. It's more fun than No Man's Sky. It plays quicker and it's way more simplified, but it's more fun. It's more fun. If you have like a Nintendo Switch or a PS4 or an Xbox or whatever, play that instead.
On the Switch, he says, do a barrel roll.
Yeah, just play that. It's more fun. No Man's Sky, not recommended.
Fair enough.
Right.
Well, I'm still playing 7 Days to Die.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the great underground tunneling project's coming on nicely. About 2/3, 3/4 way.
He's gonna hit a sign at some point underground. And it'll say Nicktopia. This rusted sign, Nicktopia 5. It was like,
yeah.
No!
Oh shit. Yeah. It takes a long time to walk that tunnel now. It is sort of like, you know, you can just sort of see in the fade distance the light at the end of the tunnel. Really, the distance it takes a long time to walk. So I'm going to put some candles in, I think, because otherwise it's going to be quite a depressing walk.
And see, that game I find more interesting, even though it's a bit more kind of... It's like
very,
a grind like No Man's Sky, but you feel threatened.
Yeah.
That's not a thing in No Man's Sky. You just feel annoyed because things have attacked you at the worst possible time.
And of course, on the 7th day, you're going to get really hit hard.
Yeah.
You've got a motivation to get better. So my motivation is I'm trying to get myself to the level, to the stage where I can now make ammunition.
Yeah.
So I'm near a stage where I can make shotgun shells. But even that's not a quick process, because to build a workbench, you need to have a wrench and a hammer, of which I found neither. And now I'm at a stage where I'm not going to get them in time, so I'm going to have to survive my next night without them. I have built battlements though.
Can I just quickly rewind back to No Man's? Have you got No Man's Sky?
I think it's on my
Did you
Steam
get it
wish
on,
list, but it's never gone cheap enough for me to justify.
Oh, so you didn't get the
purchasing
version that was in the Humble Bundle or whatever then? So I'm sure
no.
they gave it away in the Humble Bundle.
They
A
may
while
have
ago.
done. Unless I did. I thought. Ooh, I have to have a
If
look.
you've got it, there's a multiplayer mode. If you want to give it a go,
Well, I
me and
thought
you
it was
can
all multiplayer.
there's a mode where you can play with friends, so we can
Right.
actually start a session and be, I assume, in the same zone or whatever.
Yeah.
See if that makes it
Well,
reasonable.
I'll have a look when I get home.
Right, if that game had cross-play, just quickly, so I could play with PS4 players, that'd be more reasonable.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, so fuck it.
Yeah.
Moving on back
But
to...
yeah, so yeah, I've got battlements now, so I'm ready for the next batch of zombies, and so yeah, I'm ready. I've got my defences lined up. I'm building a bottomless pit down underground. Well, it's not going to be bottomless.
I was going to say, how is that going to be a bottomless pit? Have you gone
Very
clean
deep.
through the centre of the
I'm
planet
trying
and
to.
then...
I'm trying to. Well, you know that scene in Lord of the Rings where you shall not pass. I'm trying to replicate that.
All right.
Okay.
So I'm sort of just digging. I'm sort of digging down. How to build a ladder and put a ladder up on the wall so I don't get stuck.
Graphics are better than I thought then.
Yeah.
Have you got a Balrog now?
No, I haven't got a barrel rock. But I just want to sort of just build a really deep tunnel and like bridge and stuff, and just so I can sort of like have my you showing up past moment.
Yeah.
And because you can like build like really basic wooden frames that you can walk over, I'm just going to build like a couple of those like midway across when the zombies come charging, just break them, and just watch they all fall down to the pit. That'd be quite
I
amazing.
suppose if the pit was really, really, really deep, that would scupper them.
I'm trying to think. I feel read you can go down like sort of like 60 blocks. I think you can go down. And I don't know. I'm just going to make it as deep as I possibly can. But anyway, that's what I've been doing my thing. But I've also thought I'd better play something a bit different because you don't want to hear about 7 Days to Die again. At least because I'm so obsessed.
I mean, are you going to be playing that game next time? Are we going to get
we shall see.
another update on the next podcast? I've almost made it.
Yeah.
I've got another 15 feet.
Yeah, the tunnel's
I'm
really
look-
almost done this
We
time.
found a pickaxe.
I have found a pickaxe actually. I have found a
I'll
pickaxe.
find a hammer next time.
Pickaxe is a lot quicker because I hit metal and metal has 1,000 hit points. And when I'm using my little
Pickaxe right
my
behind
little
me.
stone axe to break through it, my little stone axe only does like sort of 8 points of damage to it.
Dink is there all day. Oh, I've been there all week.
And you have to repair it as well. And because it has to be 2 blocks high to get through,
Son of a bitch.
so it doesn't matter. You have to like do 2 blocks worth. My pickaxe does something like 80 damage, so it makes short work of it. So yeah, I'm hoping I'm going to be able to. I'm going to have that moment when I break for the last bit, and also light comes streaming in because I've reached the end of the tunnel.
There's fucking zombies there.
Yeah, I'll just whack them on the head of the pickaxe. That's what it's for, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
So to have a little bit of palate cleanse to that, I played Scanner Sombre. Which
Oh,
is
the
by,
Tesco gun.
Yes, that's it. Yes.
Barcode scanner.
Yes. By Introvision makes a prison architect and uplink and
Very similar game.
very similar, like Prison Architect.
Plays exactly the same.
It does, yeah. It's a walking simulator. They sort of want to do their own take on it. Its sort of idea though is that you're in a deep, dark underground cave system.
Which would terrify the shit out of me. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yes. You have no source of light.
In real life or in a game?
Not in real life.
Yeah, that would suck.
Like fucking, there's enclosed spaces. The idea that I could go down a tunnel and then not be able to get the fuck back out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
yeah.
wouldn't be ideal for me either.
No,
I
thank
think
you.
what I do for most people, really.
Yeah. That's because I'm scared of the dark, see?
Oh, fair that.
Yeah. Well, in a deep dark cave, you know there's creepers in there, aren't there? So you.
And there's the word dark in it as well.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
But you're in this underground cave system, So there's no light sources.
There's no cave systems in the sky. I've never seen one of those. So usually they are mostly underground.
Indeed. There could be level ground. Because you have because you could have it like in a mountain, which means it's sort of semi-level with the surface. It's not really underground, is it? Then
I'll give you. Well, kind of, because the ground is just upways.
It's still under some of the ground, you know.
But it's under the mountain, not under the ground.
Yeah,
But technically, if you stand on the mountain, people will say, "What are you
Don't
standing
get technical with me. I'm saying on the mountain.
You're using the technicality to try and get away with it.
Yes, exactly.
You can't accuse us of
I'm right.
being technical.
Anyway, you're in this
Don't
cave.
you be using your technicalities on me, your words and your science.
But what you do have...
I'm no big city lawyer.
But what you do pick up is you pick up this little handheld scanner, which does look a bit like a Tesco scanner. And
picks up his tin of beans.
Like this sort of VR headset. Oh, it's got a VR mode on it.
All right. Have you tried it?
No, I've not tried it. I'm going to try it.
He tells me he's got one. He only fucking tried
I
it.
see. I have a straight nasty feeling though. It's not the teleport style movement. Just like you have to actually walk, and that gives me makes me want to vomit. I've used teleport style movement in VR games. I can't do it the walking work. That just dewires my brain in a weird way, and I have like a little.
Dude, wish you had an Omni.
A little blue screen of death. I would like an Omni, yeah. A little blue screen of death occurs in my brain when that happens. My brain has a kernel panic.
Quick reboot is about to throw.
Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you, I literally walked forward about 5 steps, felt so sick of going in a dark room for 2 hours. But yeah, so basically, when you pull the trigger on the scanner, it just fires up all these little laser beams, and wherever they hit, they leave a little like dot that shows light. So you basically
and the colour indicates distance.
Yes. So it goes. I've got my right. So blue is like sort of bluey purple's right far away, and then as you get closer, it gets sort of like a green, then a yellow. So you can get an idea of how far away something is by the colour of it. And yeah, it's all scanners. You sort of like move round, and you sort of paint the cave almost. Yeah. It's really pretty actually.
Because you see nothing. This is all I know of him. Like, you see nothing, and then you actually have to. You're practically painting your environment to see the layout of the cave. Yeah. So you could be in a tunnel, but you wouldn't know that unless you were to fire all around you. And
yeah, I mean, it starts off quite a sort of like I would say like a medium sort of cone, as it were, of light. Because obviously, if it only hits what it can reach. So if there's something in the way, you won't see behind it. So you have to sort of turn around and look at it. And it's quite nice because you're walking along. If you're firing, you're like also like the room ahead will sort of light up as all these light beams hit it. And as you walk your way through, the guy sort of like it's narrated but by text. So it's appears at the top right corner of your screen. The guy just sort of talking about this case and what it was and what happened there, and the background to it. As you sort of like explore through the history of it. But as you go on, you get upgrades for your scanner. So the first thing you get is like a aperture mode. So you can control like your aperture, so you can have it really tight, like a little, so it's like a little jet type thing.
And concentrated, or
yeah, so you get so you can get really detailed.
Yeah.
Or you can have it like really wide, so you can like cover high but not very detailed. It's almost like a resolution type thing. Actually, it's really weird. It's like you can have a high or really detailed, low or very high resolution, but no, or low resolution but bigger area type thing. And then you eventually get things like there's like a burst mode where like sort of like these beams sort of converge and sort of cross, so you get that like those do like a big area at once, which is quite handy. Because that'll find things that you won't necessarily find, like you'll find statues and stuff, which you may not realise a statue, but when you do this burst mode, you can see it. There's one way you can it increases its resolution, so it fires more beams. There's one where it draws a map. Because the neat thing is, when you turn back, you can see everything you've painted. Yeah. So you can sort of see, like, I can see like a 3D model of the cave behind you as you walk through it. And the map always reflects that. So the map only shows you what you've painted. So you can sort of see, as you look at the map, you'll see like more detail. If like an area you got stuck it's more detailed, you'll see it on the map as more like a brighter area because you've done more laser light points there and so forth. So it's really pretty. It's really neat. It's only. I mean, it took me hour and 45 minutes to get through it. It's really short.
It's only a cheap game, though, isn't it?
It was very cheap. Oh, it's very cheap, really short. But it's something you'll play through once, and it'll be an enjoyable experience. I mean, to be fair, there isn't a lot you can do with that mechanic. They do explore it a bit, because there's some beautiful bits in it. Like, for example, water. If you fall into water, they disperse because obviously these beams like can't track them when it's on water. So if you're like in a cave,
it's a
water,
moving surface, so
yeah.
you can.
So in a cave full of water, you fire it, and it all lights up, and then all of a sudden, just parts will just disappear. And so you can see where the water is by where there's nothing, which is really neat. There's some strange creatures in this cave as well. Like the water, if you fall in the water, like they'll come after you, and you'll scream at you again like dry lamb. They come after you and attack you and drag you to hell or something. And yeah, you basically walk your way up to the top.
Drag you to the dotless abyss.
And eventually you find your way back to the surface, and you find well, obviously won't tell what the ending is, but you get your little ending. One nice thing at the very end, though, it does do at the very end, it flies through like the whole cave system, so you can see everything.
Is it the same every time you play, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fixed. It has a New Game Plus mode where you start again, but you have all the upgrades, so you can like uncover more detail. And there's not. It is really a proper, very basic. It's a walking simulator, a very simple idea of how to interact with the world. There's no documents to find to fill in what's going on. It is all by the guy narrating what tells you what's going on. There's no sort of like hidden nooks and crannies to find secret areas and so forth. It is a real basic game. It's basically showing off the idea, and you know, it's how it feels like. It feels like one of those like game jam type projects where someone's come up with a new idea and just wants to try it out. So that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And I think it was their idea. So let's try something a bit different. We won't charge a lot for it, but we just want to try something different to get an idea out there. Probably as a palate cleanser from the years they spent on Prison Architect, which is quite an in-depth game. So I would recommend it. It's a different. It's a nice. Just the interface style, the way it works. It does work really neatly, but just bear in mind you're only going to get an hour and a half out of it, 2 hours most if you take your time. But yeah, it was a fun sort of version. I like walking simulators. I like sort of there's something I don't have to think too hard about. They're nice when you want to have a bit of a relax.
Yeah.
You're not going to be sitting there with a gun shooting. You'll have to have lightning reactions. You can just sort of pace yourself.
Yeah.
And so forth. So yeah, it's very neat. It's a very neat game, very neat interface, and fairly enjoyable.
Cool.
Nice.
Right, Middlemester. Middlemester's bought a prop.
Kind of. So I've been playing this.
Well, you're going to tell because it's an audio version as well.
Yeah, but
What is this, Middlemeister?
Metro Exodus, which is the third in the whole Metro series based on the book. It follows on more or less. I didn't really play the.
Is the film based on the books? The first one was based on
Metro
the book.
2033. Yeah, so
Yeah, that's based on the book.
on the sort of characters and elements of that
It's not
book.
actually based on one of his books.
No, I don't. I think that was all probably covered in the first game. I don't know if anything happened later in
he made a
the
second
book.
book, but that was based on the second game.
Oh, Last Light.
Yeah, so basically he made the first one, which they based Metro 2033 on. Then when they made Last
So
Light,
they did a reverse. He based a book on it. They based a game on a book that was then spun back round.
I'd imagine he had some input on it, so how it was going to go.
But yeah, so this is the third one. You still play as Artyom. I didn't play the first two, but I saw like a catch-up video explaining
There is a whole
the
Let's
details,
Play of Last Light on our YouTube channel by yours truly that you could have enjoyed
I didn't
and
realise that.
experienced.
Oh, there you go. If you, I'll do that one day. But anyway, this is kind of
When he can't go over TV and he's bored.
yeah. This is more of a sort of a. I've seen some people compare it to this developer's Witcher 3, where it suddenly becomes like this big, much more adventurous game, but I don't think it is quite to that level, really. This is more of an early impressions, because I've only played the first few hours, but...
You're not doing Neo Tonton, are you?
No. The basic structure is sort of, you start out in the metro as you do with the other ones, but your character believes that there's more people out there. It's not just like the Moscow and everything else is dead. He believes that there's life everywhere, and you start out on the top of the sort of above all this, and you get into trouble, and you're taken back down and rescued, and you get told by the leader of your group that there is only Metro, nothing else. But then you go out again later on with your wife from the previous two games. You were sort of married now. I don't know if she was married at the end, but you're married to this woman. You go out there, and you sort of see some people, and there's a big old train that goes through. So you realise from that there are obviously people out there.
It's funny they've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Or heard it.
Yeah. But they do kind of explain some of that. But you track down this train.
You're a deaf cunt from all the people you keep shooting.
You track down this train, and it's in a big sort of depot bit, and then you discover that communication to the rest of the world has been cut off to Moscow because they didn't want to risk anyone knowing that they're over there, because they wanted to try and remain safe and didn't sort of carry on.
The rest of the world wants to remain safe, or Moscow wants to remain
Moscow
safe?
wants to remain safe. So they've
It's
blocked
done
all
a bloody good job
communication.
remaining safe, hasn't it?
Yeah, but this is after that. They cut all communication once the bombs went off.
So
that they wouldn't.
after they got invested with mutants.
Yeah, because everyone believed Moscow was a wasteland, so they just wanted to make sure
It
no one
is.
else. Yeah, but they wanted to make sure no one else came in. That's kind of explained quite well
we want to
within the
make sure
game.
everybody thinks it's a wasteland. It is a wasteland. We want everybody to think that, but everybody knows it's a wasteland.
I think they wanted to make sure they didn't believe that there was anyone left alive anywhere in.
There
in
hardly
the
is
city.
anyone left alive.
Well, there's still the whole Moscow metro system. There are a few
Not that many
survivors,
people
but I just think they wanted to be left alone. But anyway,
We want people to
I don't
think
wanna-
it's a wasteland, and then the bombs drop.
yeah, it kind of is Moscow. But anyway, the train.
Oh, where were you going with that?
The train kind of works as a moving hub.
Don't drink any tea from Russian people.
Right. So you start out, as I say, in Moscow, and then you move on to your first kind of, it's not a massive bit, but like a open world hubs. Like each time you go to a new area, opens up like a semi-open world area that you can explore.
Dishonored likes, where you have like
A
sort of
little bit like that, yeah. Probably bigger environments, but a similar kind of idea that you get this place and you have a few missions, side missions, big quests to do in there. Like one of the things is there's a big tower with guards, and one of the things you can do if you like is to get, like someone hears a guitar playing up there, and one of them loves guitar but hasn't been able to play it for years, so he asks if you've got the time, if you can go up to the tower and get the guitar.
steal this guy's guitar.
Yeah.
Can you steal that guy's guitar for me? He clearly loves it. I want it.
Yeah, but he mentions that the guy played guitar really badly on top of the tower, so he
It's
he
his
said, "I'll have
pride
it."
and joy. It's
Maybe.
his pride
It's the
and joy.
only
It's
thing
his
he
thing.
has
He has
that
to
gives
keep
him joy in
going.
life.
And someone goes to me saying, "No, you won't enjoy as much as I will," and
You're
takes it off him.
shit.
To be
Give
fair,
it
I killed
here.
him anyway, so he's not going to miss the guitar because he was a bad dude.
What?
He was a sniper on top of a tower who just liked to play guitar.
He's not doing his job very fucking well. I know he's up there.
That's what I'm
No,
saying,
that's
stealth,
why I killed
isn't
him.
it? I
That's
wonder
why
where
he
the
died.
sniper is. Ding, 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 ding. I wonder where that
And
All
he-
of a sudden you hear the band. Ding, 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 ding.
You rescue her mother and daughter as well, and she asks you to get her
You
teddy
say
bear.
I'm on a
And
sniper tower? Jesus Christ, this is
No,
a
but-
crowded nest.
No, the teddy bear
What did you
isn't in
steal
there.
from them?
From who?
The mother and daughter. What did
The
you
little
steal
girl.
from
Oh, you
Save
don't steal
the
from
doll
them.
and-
You
Yeah,
save
that
them.
little girl, as soon as she's playing a doll, she's not playing it properly. I know dolls. I want it.
No, those two you save, and then she asks if you've got,
See that mother? She's not raised that little girl properly. I know little girls. I want that.
That sounds really creepy on so many levels.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, you get her teddy bear. But obviously, you also have.
Oh, you get a teddy bear.
Oh,
do
you
you?
do
I
get a
assume
teddy
it was
bear.
a
You
feeble
save it.
fucking toe rag.
Yeah, but that was her teddy bear that she lost, so you're not stealing it from anyone this time. You're just getting it back for her. But anyway,
And
you
then
got
you snatch off and rip his head off and say, "Fuck you, kid."
yeah, and one
The
of the
mission was shit. Give me some money.
one of the first main bits you go through, because you get on a boat, like a little rowboat, and you go through like this little
On a
mini
train?
town kind of
It's
thing.
just- it's just like on
No,
the
off
tracks.
the train. Once the train stops.
I think Archer was just going to Lally. He
Yeah,
just sat
clearly.
down on the back of the
Mm,
train.
maybe.
Where is Archer? Oh, he thinks he's rowing a boat.
You know the old. I can't remember the thing where you push up and down on
Yeah.
the train tracks. It's one of them. He's just thinking that he's on a boat.
I think
Like daydreaming. Like
I think
laying
you
on
wanna-
the beach in Hawaii. He's just outside. Radiation sickness has crept in.
you do get off the train before you start rowing the boat. To be fair, and
Oh,
you go
right.
through
Okay.
a little village. Well, not a village, kind of like what was a factory on the boat. And I
Sorry, he's kind of hit the advanced delirium.
kind of, yeah, but you're looking for something in there. I can't actually remember what it is. I think some person or something. But you're not meant to kill anyone there, because if you kill them, that faction then later on becomes much more hostile to you. So you're supposed to kind of.
But can you steal guitars off him?
No, that was a different guy. So,
Oh.
so it doesn't matter if you kill
Or
all
can you
those
steal
guys.
off these people?
You don't steal anything off them. You just after.
Then why do they get pissed off with you then?
If you kill them, they do.
What
They
the
can't be pissed off if they're dead.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but some of them try and shoot. Yeah, but
I mean, it can't be like
I
Metro
think
fucking.
some of them
it can't be
know
like the
that you're
first
there.
Metro. I stand on a piece of glass 5 miles away, and everyone knows exactly where I am, and that they don't like me.
they do.
You made some noise. Sorry.
I'm from Amazon.
It's like I tried
I've
to.
got your
hide-
package.
It's like, who ordered a package? I did.
No, I think the reason is
Have you
there's-
seen that guy before? No. I'm new.
I need a signature.
Please.
how come this never happens when you two do reviews? Only when I do
No,
reviews,
we're-
that I get all this abuse.
That's because you give us such golden nuggets. It's like, oh yeah, you don't steal anything. Off them. You said that we steal things and that they don't like us.
You steal off some people, but not these people.
Oh.
Well, what's wrong with them? Why haven't they got anything worth stealing?
Actually, I think I did steal some resources off them, but nothing specific, just like resources.
Some resources.
I
food,
knew it.
water, medicine.
That guy's jacket.
But there's a leader who escapes just as you arrive.
Leaders escape. They're
A leader.
They're
So,
supposed
yeah,
to be in
but
charge. They're not supposed to run off. Stick to their fucking do your job.
I think he's a cult kind
Theresa
of
May
leader.
leaves government.
But that's why.
Theresa May fucks off to France.
Yeah.
No, but that's why if you kill all these people, he then gets a bit snarky with you later on. So this is like the first open world, little mini sort of open world section. So you get a bunch of missions to do. One of them is to get another train carriage so you can take more people on the train with you. So you
I
don't.
took a boat to get there. How am I going to...
Yeah, but you also get train carriages. There's all
How
these
do I get
different
that on my
bits.
boat?
To be fair,
You don't have to
when
get on the
If
boat.
you're searching for train carriage on a railway, it's not that hard because they can't go very far, can they?
No, but it's hard to move them once they're, they've been.
You got the train.
trapped in ice.
Has
Just
anyone
the
sent
first
the
option.
train?
Yeah, but stuff
We've
like
got
that.
to go outside and get some resources.
Yeah, but you got to find it
Still,
and
yes.
load it up first and stuff. But anyway, that's because the wife and the mum and daughter, there isn't enough
Mum and
room.
daughter are in charge of the train.
No, there's not enough room for them, so you have to get the carriage.
They want a whole
What do you mean
carriage.
there's no
as well?
fucking room for them? There's two people. And what the hell's the little girl like fucking £500?
All you have is the train, like one carriage, so you don't have like
Just
space
throw it,
yet.
you got
Yeah, but that's about expanding your hub world, so you have much more and more life.
hobo it and tell them to get on the roof.
It works a little bit, yeah, but you get.
So it's a
That's
train
very
with a
cold.
base of operations. Is it? So that's
Kind of,
like
it's where you get missions where you can. Your character's voiceless, but that's where you have conversations of sorts.
Archie was voiceless, but he's got
Yeah, there's
voices
no-
in this game.
Not in this one, he doesn't. He doesn't speak in this one. There's not
So you don't
dialogue
get
choices
you
or
don't
anything.
you don't even get like little monologues between each section.
Radiation sickness is kicked
You get lots of them talking at you, but you don't talk to them.
What?
They just kind of assume you said something, I think.
But
Now that's really rude, that is.
that is.
That's a little bit unusual. It doesn't.
See, the thing is, the previous two Metros are really tight. What I liked about them was that they were like a really old school first-person shooter, really tight.
It still has that element to it.
And between every mission, you had a little dialogue where Archie basically read like a chapter of what was going on and so forth, like he was writing a diary.
Yeah.
And he explained what was going on and so forth. And that was really nice, really seeing something. And actually, he doesn't even bloody speak.
I believe, only in the loading screens where you get that. The rest.
So you just get bits of story in those.
There's lots of. There
He's
is.
still dour and miserable like he normally is.
Well, kind of, but you get story from them rather than from him. Really, you're just kind of part of. You're not really. You don't talk, but you are amongst lots of conversation and things like that. And they do talk to you, but you just don't talk back. But there's still a lot of that. It's a bit like Mass Effect, except you don't talk to them. When you get to do the mission, get back to the hub, spaceship and that train and this, and they sort of you get conversations and they talk about what's going on, their feelings and things like
I
that.
don't think there is a traffic. Archim's gone mad.
I don't think this game's
He's
that
had a
deep.
subway coverage.
But generally,
Rocking backwards and forwards.
it's very similar to that, where you get the
I
gas
shouldn't have
mask.
stole that guitar.
You have to
Do you
you have
still-
to repair weapons and find ammo and craft
Does it
ammo.
still have? Because obviously in the original Metro, if you went above surface, it was basically hostile. You had to have a gas mask all the time.
You have to have the gas mask on most of the time, but once you get to a certain point in the train, they start to realise that the whole of Russia isn't all deadly contaminated. Some of it is.
They suddenly
Gotten
realised
better.
it was only Moscow that got hit.
Yeah.
Everyone else is fine.
There's,
They
well,
get-
not
they get
fine.
to-
There's still
You
movements,
got,
but
like you travel, I don't know, 70 miles out,
It's like being-
and all of a sudden you're like, this is exactly like it was before the fucking bombs dropped.
Yeah.
Nothing's
Oh,
happened.
yeah. There's all these people saying, "Oh yeah, do you want a latte? If you've just been to
Yeah,
Starbucks."
walking around like
It's still
hipsters,
petty.
beards, fucking.
Yeah.
they're still pretty fucked up. It's just the air is more or less breathable now, so you don't have to worry so much about that in every sort of section. You go
Go
to
to
big,
Hong Kong, it's exactly
Yeah.
the same.
but that's generally the
It's a day in
gas
the life.
masks, mutants, jump scares, very good atmosphere, good sound. I'm kind of if I was to recommend it, I'd say wait for it to go on sale or for
Yeah.
budget before going for it, because it's fine, but I mean, it looks really nice. It looks very pretty. There's a lot going on, but it's just a bit. It's just a bit.
I might say it just sounds too different to the previous Metro games.
In fairness, though, he hasn't played the other Metro games, so it could be very similar. He's just not.
Yeah.
It still has bits where you are confined to Metro area, like a Metro
Now,
bit, or like
the Nazis
small bit.
and the communists in it?
Not yet, but like I say, I've only played the first few hours, so I haven't got to that
we're
bit.
done.
I'm sure they are mentioned, so I'm sure they will appear. You've already met like the nasty
Are
cult
the
leader.
dark ones in it?
They haven't been yet, but they left, didn't they? At the end of part 2, so I don't know if they will.
Yeah, but the only one they left, they took Archer with them, or he dies.
Yeah. No, I don't think that's the only option.
No, there's two ways it can end. For me, there's a while since I played it. As I'm sure there's a good way and a bad way. And I'm sure the bad way he dies, the good way they take him with him.
Well,
So both
that
of
wasn't
those
what
sound
happened in the
pretty
video I
shit to
saw
me.
about what happened.
Yeah, but they're nice, the dark ones.
Yeah, they killed all the baddies, but they saved you because you don't set the bomb off.
Yeah, that's
But
the
they
first. The first one, you basically can set the bomb off,
Yeah.
and if you've done too many nice things, if you've done enough nice things, you don't set the bomb off and don't destroy them.
That'll be me out then.
Yeah, but if you do too many bad things, you nuke them, and just as you're launching, they say, "Look, we just."
Oh
want
yeah.
peace."
This goes on from this.
Well, the second,
The second
one
one's
takes
after you
place
after you nuke them, don't you? Yeah, that's the ending.
The bad ending's canon in the second one.
Yeah. So
Because
that
you find a baby dark
obviously
one
sort of-
in the second one.
kind of carries on from that
Yeah, who chats to you and helps
generalness
you
of
out.
them leaving. So I don't know if they'll appear
Forgives
later,
you.
but they're not there
He does
yet.
actually. He's psychic and like sort of can.
Just plenty of mutants.
Just think
so
she
far,
might be
you
a bit
know.
of a cunt, but we're not going to move forwards unless I forgive you. So come on, let's get shit done.
It's
Yeah.
tricky. It's not an easy game because you don't get much ammo, and you have to. It's quite.
Metro's always been tricky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't get much health. That
Which
kind of
is another
stuff.
reason
You
why I
have to-
liked it so much.
Yeah, no, I think you would like this as well.
I might pick it up when it gets.
Yeah,
a bit
like I say,
cheaper.
wait for it to go on sale. But I enjoyed it.
I would
So far.
personally not pick it up just because of that little stunt they pulled with the Epic store.
Yeah, I don't have to worry on my version, but yeah.
Well, that's it. I just thought they were taking the piss, to be honest. I
Well,
know it's not the developer's fault. It's the publisher's fault. But it still fucking irks me,
Yeah.
and I hope they go bust.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so 4A Games, I guess, published it, or did it? Because Deep Silver and 4A Games, so one of those guys must have been publisher and developer.
Yeah.
Scrubs.
But yeah, it's like I say, it looks very pretty, and it gets atmosphere dead on. Like,
Metro
that's really,
always-
really good.
It
Even
always
if-
looked pretty good, and it always had a pretty solid
Now,
atmosphere.
Even in the
other thing
big
about Metro
areas, it
game
still
was
gets
that
good.
Everything was done really minimal. Well, in fact, there was no user GUI on it at all. There's no HUD or anything. It was all done.
Yeah, 'cause you had, like, pulled up like a
You had to
a
watch the
checklist
there was
or-
you
still have
you had a map, and if you wanted to see the map, you had to have a lighter and light the lighter so you could see the map of the dark.
I don't think you have to have a lighter this time, but
Or you're outside.
it just
so
appears, you know, you can
was
sort of
just
bring it
busy-
up and stuff.
So it's on like a clipboard type thing.
Yeah, on a
okay.
clipboard, yeah.
That's
yeah.
good. And like things like your watch and stuff for your stealth meter, and it has to be your time. for
Yeah,
your
the
mask.
colour of the light determines whether you
there's
see.
there's no actual HUD in it at all. It's all
Not really, no. Like
It's all-
occasionally
yeah.
when you're firing the gun, you get a little ammo thing, so you know how much ammo you've got.
No,
Just
see,
a
I
little
don't
bit of that on
think
there.
common.
But I think
No, I
you,
can't remember.
there's probably ways to edit that, mind you. But
I don't remember
has it
about the
still got-
original one, but I
It's still got the crazy weapons. Like there was one weapon where you had to it was like a really deadly super soaker that fired bullets, but it was gas powered, and you had to pump it.
there
up.
are some very, there
There's
are
like
some very,
There was a pressure gauge on it, so you could see how much pressure you had in it, so you knew if you could fire. Too
there are a
much.
lot of that stuff on there. You have to wind up the flashlight and things like that. You know,
Yeah,
once
that's
it,
in the, yeah.
there's a lot. I think there's a lot of people, a lot of things in that people that love the original will really embrace in this game. And like I say, it opens up much more later on. It goes through the 4 seasons, so
Yeah.
you eventually end up in a desert area, and then obviously that has tunnels and stuff. So it does keep with that
Obviously, the
claustrophobic
desert,
feeling.
obviously.
But yeah, that does keep with the claustrophobic feeling. But it opens
I
things
played
up.
the
There's
first Metro
vehicles in the
again.
desert area.
would you play the
Redux.
Ah,
Well, the
I do
Redux
have
say-
that, but I just never bothered going through it.
I've got the original, but I've got the Redux, so I'll probably give the Redux a go. As I played the original.
But I would recommend it to people that love the original. But like I say, just wait for it to go on sale a little bit. But it's very pretty game as well. You know, it looks very not pretty in the usual sense, but
The,
very good
the original Metro
atmospheric
was
level.
very, very pretty, and it was also very graphic intensive, wasn't it?
Mm.
However, the Linux version of the Redux games looked kind of janky. To me, they looked like PS3 games, and I was like, I swear Metro looked a lot better than this. I just think they did a shite job on the port.
It's, yeah, like I say, it's very intense, full on. You know, you have to be careful with. It's not just
Ammo
like a running.
management, shite
Yeah, it's
your
not a
pants,
run and gun
man.
game. You know, you have to. You have to be careful with.
If you're going to shoot something, make sure you're going to hit it. Guarantee you are going to hit it before you pull the trigger.
And try and stealth your way
If
through
you're
bits
yeah,
instead
if
of shooting
you're
everything.
fighting enemies, everything was done with throwing knives.
Yeah, throwing knives are a big part of this one as well.
Talk
They're
them
fun.
down. Shake your finger at them and tell them to go away.
Has it all the strange, like, sort of supernatural stuff in it?
There's well, with I suppose
So,
only in the
there
sense
were-
of the mutants and things like that,
Oh,
but
but there
nothing
in
particularly.
The original Metro, there were like tunnels with ghosts in them and stuff.
Like I say, I've only played the first few hours, so that I haven't gotten to the second like big open world and like the later stuff. So that might all come into it.
They're like ghost train stuff, and in the second one, there's this bit where like you go to this place where like all the souls of the damned are there, and like you should walk through all these hands, just like come out of the wall and start grabbing at you and so forth.
There's some good characters in it, you know. And you meet some interesting people already, so that's quite nice. And that obviously expands the more and more people you collect as you go through the game. I think it's about 20
people
hours.
you
collect.
collect.
Walk up to
Yeah.
them, pick up the...
You're mine now.
You
Off
can't.
you
I
go.
spe-
Like, what's that one from Being a Gentleman? You're mine now. You're my wife now.
Oh, yeah.
oh,
Papa Lazoo, is it? Sort of?
I never liked that, but it's too messed up for me. And not, I didn't.
Messed up, you
I just
live
didn't find
in
it funny.
lower stuff.
I just didn't find it funny, but that's just my taste. But yeah, about 20 hours, I think, for completion of it. Around about 20 hours.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not too like massive or anything.
I need to let's play the original one again.
Like, I know we've mentioned this like at least twice before. Was the book for Metro always called Metro?
Yeah, it's
Metro 2033. That's what it says on there each time, like inspired by the book from Dimitri for the Pillar of the.
So I remember it was
Metro
based on the book. But I can't
2033.
remember if the book was called something else first, but took place in
I serve a certain
Metro.
hankering for Russian sci-fi. I do like. That's why I like Stalker so much, and I do like Russian sci-fi.
Yeah, I'm enjoying that. You know, that side of the game. It's just a little bit. It's just
No, it's so depressing. It's fun.
yeah, just feels like it's not quite. I don't know. I'm not like desperate to play it when I'm, you know, the next day or whatever. I'm just. There's no God of War, Red Dead in terms of that. Just wanting to keep playing it kind of thing. But that's fine. I like it so far. But like I say, recommended to fans and lots. You know, anyone who's interested in that sort of thing. Just like I say, wait for it to go on sale.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, anything for TV?
New.
No. I've not really got much. Obviously, I've been watching Mr. Rowe, but I've only watched the first. Not watched the first. I'll review that one. I've got through all the seasons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm doing the same. with the
I
Umbrella-
recommend you
Umbrella
don't
Academy.
review Mr. Robot until you get through season 2.
Okay, I will do that. I recently watched Shaun of the Dead.
No one cares about that
Yeah.
anymore.
Well, I haven't seen it for like sort of 15 years probably. So I recently watched that. Hot Fuzz is my favourite of the three. Didn't like World's End at all.
I don't mind it.
I really disliked that World's End. I thought
get
it
it, but-
took way too long to get going. It was like an hour. Like it felt like it was like an hour. I was just literally thinking, is this actually?
They could have established most of those characters in
A montage or something.
Yeah, I was thinking, is this film ever going to actually start, or is it just watching them go to the pub crawl?
No, I didn't mind it.
I
but,
always watch Shaun of the Dead, but I struggled with it because Nick is Nick Frost, isn't it?
Yeah.
I really hated his character this time
Ed.
around. Yeah, the first one I watched, I didn't mind him so much, but I really hated him. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Well, that's kind of the point.
yeah, a little
Yeah,
bit.
but I think you're meant to be a bit sympathetic towards the end. I wasn't at all. I was like, oh, good, he's dead. And when it's
It keeps him in the shed now. So.
Yeah, your Peter Fisher is sort of like character saying some nice things like he's holding you back, you know, he needs. But he's right. Everything he says is absolutely right. He is the security risk. He's absolutely right. And you're meant to feel bad for him. You're meant to feel bad. And Pete's an evil person.
He's in sci-fi. He's in Star Wars, you know. Pete, Sheriff F. Witch.
Yeah, you're meant to feel sorry for at the very end where he like sort of holds Ed and they say, "Oh, leave him alone." Shoot, you're meant to feel bad for. It's like no, bloody Ed. He should be the one the fucking zombie, not Pete. So,
Right, jeez.
yeah,
Didn't like Pete.
I really disliked. Ed's character. And then the other character is also the sort of, he's a bit of a dick.
Oh, he's a
I forgot his
monumental
name.
dick, that
yeah,
guy.
the guy with glasses. He's a bit of a
Dylan.
dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
He's a
really
real
hate
dick.
him.
But he does make quite a few good points along the way. Like,
No, he
yeah,
doesn't.
perhaps we should board this window up. Yes, you fucking should.
Nah.
She's going to turn. We need to shoot it. Yes, you bloody should.
He doesn't have the balls to do it, no.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't go about it the right way, but he makes some bloody good points.
He's a character, when he dies, you're meant to relish his death, which I did.
No, I thought, yeah, he was sensible. He was actually, he was a dick, but he was actually quite sensible.
Were you a fan of Hans Gruber?
Hans Gruber?
Die Hard.
Yes.
Yeah. I figured he might be logical thief and stuff.
Yeah, Hans Gruber, that's Alan Whitman.
Yeah.
To be
Yeah,
fair.
how could you not like
Yeah,
the
exactly.
voice?
Yeah, I know, but
I mean, Alan Whitman.
you're not supposed to, root for him, though.
Alan Whitman could play the most despicable character out there, but I'd still like him because it's Alan Whitman, or he won't play them now, obviously.
Yeah, but you're still not meant to root for him. You're supposed to enjoy the performance, but not root for him.
Of course you do.
John McClane, though.
Yeah, but it's Alan Whitman.
Agreed.
God, dude.
Yeah, I know. He's the best, tie between him and Heath Ledger is the best movie villain ever, really. And Darth Vader. Darth Vader's pretty cool. Darth Maul I liked as well.
No.
That's what Peter
No.
Serafinowicz...
Look.
He was brilliant, but I wasted
I'm
him.
cutting you right the fuck off here. How fucking dare you compare Alan motherfucking Rickman to Darth fucking Vader or Darth Maul? Get out of my house, man.
I'm a big Star Wars fan.
Darth Maul.
I'll always defend Star Wars.
What, even the episodes 1 to 3?
No, they're terrible, but Darth Maul is a bright
Maul's
spot in
that.
them. The fight
Darth
is
Maul
great.
is in episodes 1 to 3.
He's in one.
So therefore, and that's terrible.
He's not in 2 and 3.
Therefore,
He's by far the best thing about it, though. His scenes are good.
No. That's not a thing. That's like saying this is the best part of the landmine field.
I think one has its moments when Jar Jar Binks isn't in it. Like the pod race and the fight at the end.
The best part of episode 1 is the end credits when it stops.
No, the battle at the end is brilliant.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No,
Everyone
it's
agrees.
not.
Everyone knows that. That's a great
that's
battle.
Awful.
No, it's not.
I literally suffered. The first time I watched episode 1, I managed to get 10 minutes in. I had to stop watching it because the guy can't edit for shit. It's like we need to go on these ships to go to the planet. Scene change. We're on the planet now. It's like you're not getting sure he's sneaking them onto the ship.
That was
Seriously?
even more quick cut before he tried to soften it. Originally, that was cut even quicker.
It's like, they go on board a ship. It's like, oh, here we are on a ship. Oh no, droids! What the fuck just happened there? It was so bad. And the little brat.
I think that film
the
does have
film
its faults.
Should have been, that little brat in there, Anakin. Ugh. I feel so.
Compared to episode 2, that film's a masterpiece.
I feel so sorry for the kid actor in
No,
that.
I think he pretty much gave up.
He's got schizophrenia now.
He flat out
he
was
got
just
so
like, no.
bullied by it, the whole thing.
Yeah,
Afterwards.
he had to keep changing schools, and they always eventually figured it was him. Figured out who he was and stuff.
What? Because there's one nerd who happened to actually watch it and enjoy the film.
Yeah, so they always figured out
Everything
who he
about
was.
The film was bad in so many ways. All of them were awful.
3 had its moments, but they're a lot better now with the new ones. But
Only good version of episode 1 to 3 is this webcomic Darth and Droids.
I know there's various cuts of the movie that make it a
It's
little
not
bit more.
it's webcomic. But what they do is they pretend that in this sort of like in their world, that Star Wars films don't exist, but they're playing this role playing game called Darth and Droids.
Oh, right.
And the Star Wars is what the world Star Wars is what their GM has come up with, and so they're all playing the characters. And the guy tries to summon a giant fish to squish everybody.
A lot of the acting is on the level of like a that kind of thing.
I got dragged to watch the second one.
The actor who played Jar Jar Binks went on a bridge to almost commit suicide after the backlash.
Well, that's not on. I
No,
don't
no,
think
no,
you
no.
actually ever could about much. But if Jar Jar Binks had committed suicide,
Yeah,
good on him.
because he said people to
Didn't
say
they try and
it's,
say that
it's the
there's
character, but it's him on screen really, which is computer overlay, But he was so destroyed by all that criticism and the venom and the hatred that he almost.
Yeah, but somebody must have seen that coming.
Didn't they say there was a theory?
I don't think they did.
fucking George Lucas loves Jar Jar Binks. He loves to poke the fans.
We must do because
You're talking about the fan theory as well that all but confirmed that originally Jar Jar Binks was going to turn out to be a Sith Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a lot of that. Yeah.
What the fuck?
I saw a.
But the thing is, that would be one hell of a twist.
Well, no, but the way, because even some of the things that they do with the character in that film, they kind of
allude to it.
They do make him a villain at the end, don't
they?
they?
There's bits
But-
where he's like talking. It looks like he's mocking somebody, but copying what they're saying. The theory is he's not. He's actually controlling them.
They do make him a villain at the end, don't they? By making him like agree to Palpatine's plans or something like that. So they do. He passes some kind of rule. That, yeah.
clue what the
So,
fuck happened
yeah.
in that film.
Second
The-
one's
the
by
fucking-
far the worst.
The only thing I remember of the original trilogy is that stupidly they explain the Force.
Do you mean the new?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The prequel
Force,
trilogy,
We
Yeah.
we established previously the Force as STD.
Oh, midichlorians. Yeah, that was
And
so. Oh.
that's
was vile, that
fucking
was.
watching Anakin's fucking body burn to a crisp. Good
Yeah.
job, you whiny little bitches. You're having a tantrum.
Yeah, that wasn't really. That
From
was.
my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
I know his actors. I know the actor had his problems, but that's all sort of script and direction really that destroyed any chance of that movie. You know, he should.
George Lucas has no idea what the fuck he's doing.
He should have handed it to another director. That's for sure. All three of them.
That's
He
fair,
never
actually.
had any idea what he was doing.
Actually, you're absolutely right. George Lucas actually isn't that good a filmmaker.
No, he isn't.
No, he's got his issues.
That film just came out at the fucking right time.
Yeah.
I do love the original trilogy though. No one will ever.
No, I've gone back.
I like
and
the new
watched
ones as well.
them. I
Actually.
watched those a lot. The original three. But going back to them these days, I'm like, no.
I still really enjoy them.
I mean, to me, Star Wars is the. To me, it's a series. I would watch it, but I'm not obsessed with it in any way. I don't
Save
think
Star Trek,
it's
Star
not
Wars.
It's not the greatest sci-fi ever made. I don't think it's a really actually quite mediocre sci-fi actually.
What was Star Trek back
I
then?
mean, if I was going to give it a rating, I'd give Star Wars 7 out of 10. In general, probably it's all right, but it's not great.
I'd give it less.
Well, I'm talking about original trilogy.
Yeah, I'd still give it less.
Really?
Be a 10 for me. Empire.
I'd probably give it a 5. The new stuff, I'd give a 2 or a 3. Well, I mean,
I like the really new
1,
stuff,
2,
but
3,
yeah.
I'd give them like a 2 or 3, and the new stuff.
I think they're good. I know a lot of
I've
people.
only seen.
I know no one likes Last Jedi, but I really enjoyed that.
I've only seen the episode What the Fuck Ever that was basically a remake of.
I understand why he did that though. He had
Oh,
to
yeah, for
remind
sure,
people
but-
why they love Star Wars, you know.
Yeah, but I don't.
I know, but it's not for you, is it?
I mean, that's how I did it because it's not like Star Wars itself is a really popular series that loads of people wanted to come back and.
It's
watch
not
the
like
originals
loads
and
of
know it's
parents have
over.
already forced
Yeah.
their children to watch it.
Yeah,
over
exactly.
And over and over
It's
again.
not like I mean, it's such an unknown series that no one's ever heard of. It needs to basically be rebooted, isn't it? To be honest, I mean, who knows what Star Wars is prior to the new
Yeah, but they
films?
forgot why they loved Star Wars. They didn't forget about it, but they forgot completely why they loved it.
Did they?
Did they?
Yeah.
No,
massively.
I don't think all
With
those
the
crazy
prequels.
motherfuckers go on to the conventions and, buying millions of fucking
The fact that
figures.
Jedi is now recognised religion.
Yeah, but it's never actually been recognised. But they turned against it for a long,
No,
certain
man,
parts of it.
the
They've-
hardcore fans just basically said 1, 2, and 3 don't exist, and then they still sucked the dick. What is the point of remaking the one that everyone loved?
That's
They
what-
never forgot that one. That's the
Yeah,
one they've
but-
been forcing down their kids'
Because
throats.
they couldn't come up with a better idea.
So fuck it. Maybe if we change a few things around, they won't realise.
You'll never turn me on Star Wars now. I'll be one of those avid
The
fans.
issue they had was they finished it. They finished it in episode 6/3.
Yeah, I know
They
it. Yeah,
finished it. They stopped. They got to the end. They finished,
Yeah, it was done.
There
And
was,
then they decided they needed more money.
yeah, it did have an end to it.
and they needed to work out a way to somehow reset it again. Oh, we better have another Sith Lord. Oh, yeah, we better make him just as bad as
Yeah, they did have an end to
Yeah,
it.
it was a mistake. It was, it's.
We'll end on that note, shall we?
No.
So I want to go home and go to bed.
Only if you admit that Star Wars is not a very good film series.
Never going to happen.
Well, then we're going to be here all night.
You're never going to change my mind on Star Wars.
I then walk away, go to bed. I'll come back in the morning, and they're still here.
You'll never. The prequels are rubbish. The new ones weren't necessary, but you'll never change my mind on the original trilogy. The prequels are mostly garbage. The new ones I enjoy, but are
not
unnecessary.
Mostly garbage. Not mostly.
Yeah.
Eliminate the mostly word out of that, and you're getting a more accurate
Yeah,
statement.
being pedantic again, but the new ones I really do like, but are unnecessary. But you'll never change me on the original trilogy.
I said the original three aren't bad.
Yeah, they're not awful. I just don't think they're up. They're not.
No.
No, you're wrong, but that's fair enough.
Yeah, they're far more better sci-fis that came out that period of time.
Wait, I'm wrong. You're the Sony fanboy. What the fuck?
I know it's weird, but it's true.
Mm.
No, Marvel, more than Disney. Lucasfilm, but yeah, I know what you mean. Disney owns everything now. You got to be a Disney fan if you enjoy anything these days.
Just wait till next Star Wars film.
1 second. Wait. So
I didn't like
Star Wars in Kingdom Hearts. The new Kingdom Hearts.
It's not.
No, they could have done that, couldn't they?
Yeah, but I don't think they wanted to. They wanted to keep it Disney.
I hate that game.
Disney Pixar.
I know somebody else. My sister played them and she liked them, but she's not obsessed with them.
I've played a very small amount of them, and I remembered why I didn't play them to start with. And
I got them cheap for Christmas, but I haven't gone through them yet. The remix ones, you know.
Now we've got the original ones upstairs.
Remix are supposed to be quite a bit better, but I haven't played it yet. So
our survey says
yeah.
no. Just no.
No.
Disney only ever made like fucking 2 decent films in their entire fucking history. So fuck them.
The only Disney film.
Lion King,
yes,
we know.
Lion King, yeah.
No, that was a decent Mega Drive game, but not a decent movie.
What would your Disney films then be?
Got to be Aladdin, Robin Williams. Come on.
No, that was okay, but no.
I don't kind of Aladdin.
The new one looks terrifying, but.
I don't really care, to be fair.
I think they've made the G too much like Will Smith. They should be a bit more moved away from that. But
he just looks fake.
Well, it's because it is fake. It's CGI.
Yeah, but you can really tell. You can't tell a lot of the time these days, but in that you can really tell.
I think some big blue dude, I'll be able to tell it's fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
I mean, if you look at Avatar, you can tell that's
only
fake.
Way,
everyone loves
the
that.
only, yeah, the
they're
only,
idiots.
The only way that they would be able to make it better is if they had Alan Rickman playing the genie.
Yep.
Then it'd be the greatest film ever made.
Yep.
I'm not sure he would have been suited for that.
He would have been sued now.
It'd been better too far.
Don't you start that.
It'd be better too far.
I'm not having you. No, I'm not having you say this. I'm not having you say this. You could have fucking Alan Rickman playing every single character as Alan Rickman, and that would be the best film.
I didn't realise you were such a massive Harry Potter fan.
Fucking, he could look.
He's the only good part of Harry Potter.
He's probably the best character. He's probably the best character, but it's not the only good thing. But let's not go down all these.
See, you're wrong again. You're wrong again.
You're not a Potter fan as well, are you?
I do enjoy Harry Potter. I enjoyed the books more than the movies, but
Someone bought me one of the books once to read. I got 3 pages into it, so I can't stand this.
You are a snob now.
I was working in a school and had to read those books to children, and they were fucking disgusting.
And the way J.K. Rowling now just jumps on the bandwagon.
She has no idea.
I don't think she cares. She sleeps in a bed of money.
No, but every time that there's something in the newspapers about some big sort of thing, oh yeah, well of course so and so was this. Like you never mentioned that once in the book. Once you ever mentioned.
It's just because Dumbledore's gay. That's why you don't like it.
No, that's fine. That was okay. But then she said, "Oh yeah, well I envisioned Hermione played by a black girl," but in the book she described her as white.
Yeah.
No, you're only saying that for your own publicity's sake. You're saying that just saying that is actually disgusting. You're jumping about the race bandwagon to try and make yourself look better.
I don't remember that.
That was
story.
recent. That was only about a couple months ago, wasn't it? 2-3 months ago she did that.
No, I think I've heard that kind of thing before.
There was one where there's something. I mean, the next thing she'll say one of the characters is going to be transgender.
Is she, no, oh no, she's already said that one of the characters was to be gay, didn't she?
Yeah, it's Dumbledore. He's going to be gay.
Mm.
But that'll be in there. That'll be the next thing, just so she becomes relevant again. She's using the series to just looks at what's the latest thing they're talking about in the newspaper. Oh, and I'll just put a tweet out there about I vision so and so being like that.
Crap writing, really crap writing.
Yeah.
I do prefer Philip Pauls and His Dark Materials.
She read the last book.
Only.
She has read the others as well, but she read the last book, and obviously she's an author. I said, from an author's point of view, she said, I could probably eliminate 2/3 of it in editing. There's 2/3 which really are not necessary at all.
Didn't need to be 2 movies, that's for sure.
It was just all filler.
Yeah, but she's still, worth about $500 million.
She had to make a bigger book, so she's made a bigger book.
Yeah, it's not as big as the others, like the more recent ones. Order of Phoenix is about twice as long, I think.
What a shame.
Yeah. But anyway.
Alright, so we'll end on that note.
Yeah.
We've proven ourselves right, Tom wrong, it's fine.
I don't think quite have.
I'm the Sucker Brown.
I've been the Coughmeister.
Skazz is
Hopefully
soon
the
to be dead listening to this podcast.
Hopefully, in a fortnight, we'll all be weller.
I might be dead.
He might be dead.
I might not come back as a protest.
Um,
I'd say Star Wars is the best thing ever, but you'd edit it out later on.
Oh,
It
yeah.
doesn't matter.
yeah,
That's right. I'll just get Alan Rickman to
this-
take
yeah.
it away.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
So,
I can't do
our
Alan
final thought is this: Star Wars is shit. Harry Potter is shit. Now you can either leave that in.
No,
They
I'm
did
leaving it in.
They did many billions of dollars now. They're popular.
Just because something's popular and makes a lot of money does not make it good.
Yes, it
Look at
does.
Windows 10,
Yes, it
Xbox.
does make it good.
Xbox.
Fortnite.
Xbox doesn't make any money. What are you talking about? That's not popular.
Fortnite, Starbucks.
Xbox has sold less than 40 million consoles, and
Oh, less than 40 minutes.
Yeah, but,
God, they
the-
must be really struggling.
PS4's on 94 now.
There's
So,
40
in
million
comparison,
consoles.
yeah, but that's
Mate, if I made a device that sold 40 million some of it, I would be quite happy.
Microsoft aren't.
Well, that's because of Microsoft.
iPhone.
I like iPhones.
You're a fucking idiot.
Hey, you're so mean.
Yeah, what can I say?
You've been really
I'm
mean
not-
today.
Yeah, I'm coming into
When
my
you're
stride
ill,
now.
you're really mean.
It gets worse.
Jeez, I'm not coming back.
Done it. Woo! Got rid of another one.
You love it when
They're
I'm
dropping
here.
like flies.
It's only because, Podwife is obsessed with me. That's the only reason all this venom is coming out.
Yeah. Jealousy, isn't it? Jealousy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
plain and
Yeah, it
simple.
is.
See,
Yeah.
see, this is why we're brilliant. See, because we're not, we don't get millions of subscribers and listeners to us every week. We only get 4.
If
Well,
we're lucky, on a good day.
We're brilliant. You see, that's why it's the inverse relationship.
Yeah. I'd rather have all those subscribers now. I'd much rather have. a
So
million
if you
viewers.
break,
Yeah,
here's the
that's-
trick.
But our
Middlemester
channel
breaks
isn't
off.
monetized, so we get nothing for it.
You break off.
I'd still rather have that, so I'd be least party
You break
famous.
off and start your own podcast. Watch as he pulls in a massive audience as the ex-member of Rand Nerds.
And then we'll quickly overdo a
You've got barred in like a rehab clinic.
we'll quickly do a hostile takeover, and I don't mean like the hostile. I mean a hostile takeover.
Oh man,
Yeah.
all that training in 7 days to die as well,
Yeah.
or to live or
In
whatever.
fact, look, let's be fair though. Of everyone here, the one that's most likely to be hostile.
You, easily.
I had to build
You're
That's
a-
kind of my job in the grand scheme.
You're a mean son of a bitch.
Damn right.
Yeah,
And my mum would agree.
yeah. I still consider you a buddy now.
Yeah, yeah. You're all right too, mate.
Yeah, cheers.
Oh, and on that. Oh, that, we
Quick
shall
vomit.
end. We shall end. Bless them.
This is gonna
Bless
be a
'em.
nightmare. Well, look, it's the only one of the only people. Well, in fairness, you haven't been on here as much as Bard. I haven't killed you. We haven't even buried you yet.
He must be getting close to bar numbers by now. I would have thought.
I ain't got a clue.
I'll have to go.
We buried Bard twice.
I started on the 50s, but there was a spell where I didn't show up much.
Yeah, well, there's a spell where he's like, oh, can't bother to come tonight.
It's only 'cause he-
I signed my record contract, my modelling contract.
I wasn't used to his meanness.
There's a
yet.
five-a-side game.
Yeah, it used to make me really sad, but I get it now.
There's a five-a-side game on tonight. I need to watch that.
Wasn't used to his bitterness. Now I just realise he fucking hates everything.
I would have turned up if I knew you guys were going to miss me so much and get bitter about it even all this
Yeah,
time
well,
later.
See, it's all your fault that
I'm
I'm
here
like
now.
this.
I'm here now. It's all right.
Well, it's taken a while for the bitterness just to flow away.
I know you're a very, very, very bitter man.
Well, that's what happens. You fucking left for so long. I got so angry you wouldn't debate me about near autonomy, you cunt.
You
Only
hung
because
away.
I didn't want that discussion.
Yeah.
I was scared.
That was,
You-
that
you
was the
didn't want to
biggest.
admit.
That was the biggest let down discussion of the year. That was.
When we're famous, they'll look at that discussion as a good bit, because it was so bad.
Yeah.
I was so bad.
I
in
mean,
that.
that was just amazing. I
was so naughty.
That was the highlight of my last year's podcasting. Was you actually admitting that you hardly played the game?
That was a watershed moment for us. I feel like
That was a
yeah.
twist.
the early
That's where you'd have a cliffhanger.
the early days of my appearance were quite good when I suggested name changes like Middlemeister and the Middlemen as the name of the show and
I've always been
so
nice
on.
on the nerds.
Yeah, and Middlemeister and the Nerds, or Middlemeister and his Nerds.
Yeah.
So what we've got to do now is do the Abbey Road Beatles photo with Middlemeister in it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's only
Where-
three.
only where my
Yeah, it
so-
doesn't matter because we'll just get. Or I could take a couple of shots of Middlemeister at different
Yes.
points and just
I'll just be in my socks so people think I'm dead. there'll be a whole conspiracy surrounding me.
Yeah.
I just feel bad for the people that only listen because they can't see me. I feel quite bad
No,
for them.
no one feel bad for them at all in that situation.
No?
No.
I guess that was that one guy who called me Rowan Atkinson. But I think he was thinking of Johnny English, because when you think Rowan Atkinson, you think Johnny English,
No, I
don't
think
you?
Mr. Bean.
No, Johnny
Wasn't that
English.
hard?
No,
that was me.
said he looks like Mr. Bean. It's like, yeah.
No, well, no, Rowan Atkinson, they said. And then at the end I said, I've been Rowan Atkinson. And you said that you've been a homeless man because we were talking about you getting accosted at a supermarket for talking to your mum.
That always happens.
Yeah.
Always happens. People always
Like-
think that I'm going to mug them or...
I get it.
It's almost like I look like a tramp and I'm aggressive and shit.
Yeah. well,
Yeah, that's all right.
That
When
is-
am I
that
ever
is who
fucking
you are.
hostile?
You're being,
Oh no, he's dying!
you're being kind of hostile right now.
That was
By
punch.
shouting.
When we cry hostile,
Shouting
I
it.
start falling over and dying.
Yeah, you've been very hostile to me tonight.
Oh well, what can I say?
That's all right now. I get it. You're ill.
He's hostile to everybody.
Yeah.
Kind of my default setting.
But as soon as you
Yeah.
learn that, he's
Turn
a,
everything up to 22 and call everyone
he's a
cunts.
he's a teddy bear underneath,
Mm.
but outside he's hostile to everybody.
Yeah. He's just a cunt.
Yep.
It's all right.
I agree.
But a lovable one. Hey.
Oh. Good time.
What was that? Oh, the caveman.
Well, I was trying to be like, ooh, but I got my throat. Is my throat is really dark. Like, yeah.
We could always pull off being free caveman, couldn't we?
Oh.
Oh,
No.
no,
Oh.
oh,
Oh.
Me just talking sounds exactly like that.
yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was basing my words on.
See, it's been around me too long.
Fucking hell, trying to.
We don't really talk. You're the only one that keeps trying to cause a fight by bringing that up constantly, you know?
Yeah, it was the highlight of my career.
Of your career.
Yeah.
Been a very poor career.
I had. I've got on with part of a channel. It's got 68 subscribers.
Man, if we had 69, I'd at least be okay
I
with
did
the
have
comedy.
69, but one of them left.
Fucking son of a bitch.
Are you subscribed to our channel?
Yeah.
Have you create a second account.
I'm subscribed
Subscribe to-
63 times.
Oh, right. That explains a lot.
Yeah.
Now I'm subscribed 5.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. How does everyone keep finding the live stream then?
They don't.
I don't. They're bots. They're all bots.
Yeah.
All of
We're
them.
just imagining people talking to us.
They're,
Yeah.
they're chat bots. That's all they are.
Yeah.
None of them exist.
Should have known.
Even we don't
Have you
actually
done the
exist.
Turing test in them all? Do you do the Turing test to everyone who comes onto your live stream? I bet
don't-
you don't.
Probably should have done.
No, there you go.
Sorry,
on me
I'm
yet.
sorry I failed it. I'm sorry.
So,
Anyway.
there we go.
Fish to be
Anyway,
awfully
on that
green.
end, we're going to end again.
Yeah.
On that
We
end-
finished about 20 minutes ago.
On that end, we're
Yeah.
going to start.
Yeah. So goodbye, everybody.
Star Wars is awesome.
Right, no one talk until I get this live stream switched off, so at least we're saved.
Star Wars is awesome, yeah.
Press the button, Nick.
Now I'm trying to find out the end.
Snot, press the button.
I'm ready to think about it.
Press the button.